So, hello everyone. My name is Igor Tomych, and today I will do the webinar about the e-wallets, and we will talk how they structured, how they potentially developed, and what is the difference with other fintech applications that you might see on the market. So, let's start with the slides. So, a little bit about DashDevs. In this case, I'm presenting the company which is called DashDevs. We are crossroad fintech outsourcing and consulting company. We've been active on the market for more than a decade, and we successfully delivered a lot of projects across the globe. And this gives us an ability to explain, educate, and still explore the market and the new cool features that technically available on various platforms. Our experience is crystallized in FinTech Core. That's our quite niche product that we propose to the market. In this case, we give an ability to reduce the time to the market for our potential clients by licensing the source platform that gives a lot of different models which can be combined as a digital bank or e-wallet application. And I think our existing clients already benefited from it, and a lot of clients out there who are looking for the solution for their digital products might benefit from it too. Initially, I've started the company in 2011, and we've been focused on the mobile engineering, on the iOS and Android, but this experience gave us an ability to deliver top-notch mobile applications. And in fintech sector, I think mobile applications is one of the first client-facing sources of your brand and your digital products. And today we will talk about e-wallets, which also includes the mobile development and the backend platform. A little bit about me. I'm Igor Tomych. I have more than 20 years of experience in software development. I was lucky enough to see the computers and internet in early days. I've jumped into 98 with the software engineering for fun, but almost 20 years I'm working in outsource, and I had an experience working as engineer, as a delivery manager, and then jumped into the really nice adventure, which is called DashDevs. And we, as a company, we launched products in the United States, in the United Kingdom, and META regions. One of the fun fact, I lead it as a delivery manager and as a CTO, the execution of the digital bank in United Kingdom. It took me 9 months completely from the scratch to do the architecture of the platform and then execute the back office, virtual ledger, all the required business processes and mobile applications, and push it to the market. We are engaged with a lot of different financial institutions. I have my hands-on experience with the various providers and various APIs on the market. We've been working with the United States, which is a little bit different from all other world, with United Kingdom, European Union. We also worked with the MENA region quite close as Bahrain and Emirates. Personally, I'm trying to keep my hands a little bit dirty with the exploring APIs in different platforms. So nowadays, I would say I'm kind of the crossroad between the business and the technical solutions. So I have a lot of understanding how the markets and digital products works, but still have technical ability to evaluate the solutions, the API, the quality, and overall how you need to make sure that your product is successful and efficient on the market. So, agenda. Today we will talk about the e-wallets, the types, the examples that you might see on the markets, and why are they different, because there is a lot of happening nowadays in 2024, a lot of still happening, and the evolution in fintech didn't stop. We will talk about the typical functionality, the difference between wallet and the bank. We will talk about the general features that you might expect from the wallet application or wallet product. We will talk a little bit about how Apple Pay is working in the flow example for authorizing the payment. We will talk about the important part of the e-wallet application as a payment gateway. I will show a little bit on Stripe as example of payment gateway, which can be implemented like that, and a little bit of the banking rails and fintech core, like how you potentially will structure the solution if you would like to develop and run the platform yourself instead of white labeling or buying third-party products. So let's jump in. So what is the e-wallet application nowadays? It's a digital application that enables users to perform electronic transactions using their mobile devices and computers. And usually it's something that is specifically designed for online usage. And they've been active on the market starting from the beginning of internet, I would say, because a lot of banks trying to provide their financial services online, but there is a niche which gives users to perform financial operations easier or more secure compared to the banks. And it, like, there are a lot of examples on the market that you might heard before, and some of them is PayPal or X, which is initially was aiming for the e-wallet niche. So the wallet application can be split into the different types, and I would say three main types. Like closed wallets, it's usually a specific wallet or application that is operated and designed to be used inside of the specific company and for purchasing the goods and services exclusively for this company. Maybe out of the head, the examples of parking wallet, like if you're using I don't know, EasyPay in the European Union, you have an ability to include your card to this application, and then without showing or entering the payment information each time when you're parking and putting car on the parking lot, you can actually just open the wallet application, press the start, and then it will automatically calculate and will charge you by the information that you've put before as a payment source. And it's kind of the application as example of wallet application. Semi-closed, it's usually more wider infrastructure. It's when the platform or the wallet allows transactions at listed merchants and locations. They might not support the cash withdrawal or redemption. They might allow, but usually it's more wider structure. And one of the example that you potentially can think by default is PayPal, because in this case, you're connecting your payment source as a card or banking account, and then you can use inside of the platform, you can transfer the funds, not using the usual financial instruments like as a card and transaction, but by simply specifying an email at PayPal inside. And it gives kind of an ability to send the funds and operate as the another platform, but then you might withdraw the funds, and sometimes the platform, they don't have this ability. You will just keep the balance with this platform and will spend with or will transfer to other friends, or will spend with the merchants. And the third type, which is becoming really popular nowadays, it's open wallets. It's when it's issued by the banks or financial institution and allows to withdraw at ATMs and fund transfers. There are quite a lot big names that operate in this case, and I think it's like the last step is quite close to the bank. And usually those platforms who operate in open wallets, they partnering with the bank for with the banks and financial institution to issue the card. So let's see examples. And the really popular one is Apple Wallet. In this case, it's really good example of the wallet as the logic itself, because it gives an ability to aggregate not only the cards, but digital identities, loyalty points. It's pretty powerful in terms of the digital features, but it's a good example when Apple don't have any financial institution licensing, and they're using third-party banks for creating the card. So the moment when you activate is actually there is a financial institution who is operating the card, not Apple itself. And Apple provides the platform, open wallet platform, to operate, because you can actually use the card at ATMs, you can use the card directly. But what Apple is quite successful bringing this digitally as a platform, and a lot of people nowadays using Apple Pay as their level of security at the payment terminals, at the places or even online. So it's really good example of the wallet application. Definitely, there is another one as a competitor is Google Pay. It allows almost the same way to operate and add the card and use inside of the Google platform. And another popular example is PayPal, and it's quite long time active on the market, and it also gives you an ability, like as open wallet, to top up the balance, use seamlessly. If you don't have, even if you don't have enough money on the balance, you can actually use PayPal with the balance which is less than you require with the payment, and then PayPal will go to your bank account and withdraw additional funds for the specific transactions, which also makes it this good example of the wallet, because itself you don't nowadays you can actually issue the card, but as a wallet example, it's really good level of security because you don't need to care how much money you have. There is a payment sources which are smart routed and then withdrawn depending on the amount of your transaction. So a lot of examples on the market. I cannot list them all, and I think there are more wallets than banking applications nowadays because of regulations and easier and cheaper way to implement it. But if you aim in for Apple Wallet or Google Pay, I think it's even bigger than certain banks. So the functionality that you potentially would see with the wallet applications. And I think distinctive is that usually it gives really good way of connecting cards and your accounts from third-party sources. So you definitely have the onboarding process as you might expect in every application. You might not have the KYC, which requires to check your identity and validate that you are having a permission to operate a specific financial operations, because in this case, third-party payment sources are used. And usually, if you compare it to like digital banks, usually the onboarding is quite easy. But that is designed because you are not using accounts directly or the balances. You will connect the cards and accounts, and it should be marked with the star. We will discuss a little bit longer because technically that's the main like killer feature, because you need to use the third-party cards and accounts, and it makes happen because of the payment gateways. And we will talk today about how it works and why it's important. Usually there is a wide range of transfers, and if we're talking about like a semi-open or open, there is a specific ecosystem where you can use the transfers and the funds. And as with a PayPal, you all know that it's quite easy to navigate through the list of your contacts, or even to send the transfers to the specific email rather than the banking credentials or the card credentials, which once again, if you're using, you cannot simply send to someone's card because they will not give you. So those platforms, they are really facilitating the digital payments, and that's the initial aim and goal, and they're quite successful with that because a lot of people are using PayPal because it gives much easier way to communicate with your friends if you would like to send money or even pay for the goods and services. And another way is embedded finance, because in this case, those platform gives really good SDKs, software development kits, or ability to third parties to integrate their wallets or the platforms into the websites as a merchant. So if I would like to have, I don't know, the website where I'm giving like a debate access to my webinars, integrating PayPal would be quite easy. And in this case, it's advantage for the customer because I don't need to specify my card to compromise it. I just can come to the website and initiate the subscription with the PayPal, which is easier and gives me additional level of security as a fourth item. So combining this, it's pretty niche, but pretty powerful tool for engaging your customer, and a lot of cases for usage, especially nowadays, since everything is becoming digital. There are a lot of ways to leverage this approach as a wallet, starting from retail application, and I don't know, even Small coffee shops might be beneficial because Starbucks also using the wallet application for topping up and then even paying online in the queues for their coffees in their places. So the functionality usually pretty straightforward. There are a lot of additional items, but that's something that makes the wallet unique from other forms. And technically, there are a lot of gray areas, but still, I think we can talk on the example of UK, the difference between wallet and the bank, because if you compare the usual bank, it gives a wide range of credit and financial services, and the wallet is technically is aiming to connect the payment sources. So it doesn't want to become a source of truth. It just trying to find the way how for you to make easy integrating with your existing financial sources as a bank or a neobank. You can connect the card, you can connect through Apple Pay, and then use those sources for paying to third parties. On regulator requirements, it's easier to implement the wallet because it's regulated by the payment services and regulations in the United Kingdom. The bank is usually regulated with the Financial Services and Market Act. It gives kind of limited access to financial services because in this case, you won't be able to open banking accounts, etc., but it still gives really nice additional digital presence for you online, like sending the transfers to the friends or using in more effective way the checkouts online, etc. And market perception is pretty modern. Usually the brands who are having the wallet functionality, their perception is much more up to date if you compare like a user experience. And if you have an ability to use the wallet functionality even in your like websites, if there is an Apple or Google Pay functionality for the checkout, the application will benefit from it. And if you're asking for the card, I think there's going to be a specific funnel and issues with the customer leaving their cards because no one wants to give you full PAN nowadays. They would like to use other more secure ways for the checkout. So the features. Sometimes in the wallets, you might still see the balances and accounts. As I already talked about the payments, it's really the core of the system. They might be different types. The logic might be really different, but it's also the way how you are connecting your payment sources and then sending to the third parties. There is a big player in this feature list is social integration, because usually you can see the list of your friends who have who have accounts opened with the same social platforms. They usually quite easily integrated with the social networks. So PayPal, payments with the Facebook, etc. Usually embedded finance is a big thing because you can, as I said, use, for instance, PayPal SDKs for checking out or do the checkout at your website. Multi-currency is becoming a big player in features too, because by combining the sources, you can actually leverage settlement from one currency to another, and foreign exchange also becoming as big thing as it features. But let's focus on quite specific as a payment example, like because what is the difference? How the wallet works and gives you an ability to actually take the card from third party and then do the payment. So that's like a flow that gives you an ability to understand how the merchant website interacts with the Apple Pay. So in this example, we assume that Apple Pay already has the card connected, so you don't need to connect the card. And the flow shows how you will use your phone on the merchant website for the payment. And it starts with checkout form on the website, which is initiating the payment. It asks to create the payment with a form token with the payment gateway. And then it displays the embedded form on the website as a step 3. And then the buyer or you choose an Apple Pay to be used as your payment source. And in this case, the merchant website takes your information with tokenized and sends to the authorization request to the acquirer bank. So acquirer bank has integration with the Visa or MasterCard, depending what card type you are tokenized, and then it takes this token and process this request from the merchant to the acquirer bank, and then money will be processed and later will land on the merchant account in the acquiring bank. So when the acquirer receives the information, checks it, it notifies the merchant that the payment result was successful or not. The website receives this information and displays the confirmation page. And in the end, it returns the JavaScript to the client. So you will see some pop-up on the website saying, okay, your order was successful. We successfully requested or authorized your card through the Apple Pay, and then it starts processing and it will go. And in this case, it might not even mean that the money was settled from your account. In this case, the bank got the confirmation that you authorized to use your card, and the amount might be changed because they might be a different fee for transportation or something. Actually, it's pretty cool because you're granting an access to use your financial instrument as a card through the Apple Pay, and then the merchant can act and implement their own flow and own changes into the process. So even if you cancel at specific stage the order, payment gateway can cancel the transaction and money will be sent back to your card. So it's in a nutshell how it works. And what is the payment gateway? A payment gateway is a technology used by merchants to accept debit, credit cards, or tokenized card purchases from the customers. And it acts as an intermediary between the merchant website and payment processor. It's used to process the payment, and then it transmits sensitive financial information and make sure that everything is moving as required. So the payment gateway is playing an essential role in implementing the wallet, because since you are not holding the financial information and not opening accounts or issuing the card yourself, you will have to use the payment gateway. And usually it's like a really big game changer if you have really good terms with the payment gateway for the payment processing. Usually it's terms that cost or volume or specific stuff. And a lot of wallets are built around this. So let's talk how it's implemented through like gateways, because there are a lot of payment gateways, but one of the really popular one is Stripe. And when you're creating the customer, for example, that's screenshots from the internal tool of the Stripe, usually, and I think it's pretty important here to put the understanding how it works. When you create in the customer in payment gateway, it doesn't mean that you are charging for the specific order. So basically, you're connecting the payment source to your customer. And that gives an ability for the wallets to create their customer entities. So I'm Igor, I'm coming to fintech core wallet, and I'm registering. And in this stage, the account will be created in fintech core, but also I have an ability to call an APIs to Stripe and create the customer entity Igor, and then connect the payment methods as a card or even bank account to my system. And in this case, Stripe will generate the profits of processing those transactions if I will do specific transactions and will deduct money from your card or the bank account. And there it's where the Stripe is benefiting, but also gives you an ability to process different payment sources. And it will look something like this. So in the end of the day, you will not see the full pan of the card, because when you connect in, this example is from internal tool, and definitely here you're using the full pan card of the customer. But in real product, you will use SDK, and the interface for collecting the card will be shown from this SDK on the website or on the mobile application. And Stripe will connect personal financial information. And what you will see is a fingerprint of the card. So you will be able to reference this card without requiring become PCI DSS compliant. You will not need the license to operate for, in this case, charging the card. So Stripe will handle it for you. And it gives you an ability to save this information and use for later usage. So if the customer will come the next time and would like to purchase another product or a service for you, you might even show the list of the previously saved card, because this information is held in Stripe, and you can show this information, and customer might reuse without the need of retyping the card. And that's the benefit of the wallet, because you will connect the payment sources, you will put them into the system. And then if the customer would like to send, I don't know, $20 to their friend, you can actually use this payment source and send this money to his friend. And the second part is movement, because charging money is clear, but there is another one as banking rails, because by just grabbing the money from networks as MasterCard or Visa is not enough. And in this case, you can actually benefit from using banking rails. It's usually infrastructure that supports moving money from one financial institution and entity to another one, to individuals, to business, to banks, or other financial institutions. And it includes various systems. It's quite wide definition, but in this case, like one of the banking rails that popular in United Kingdom is faster payment. So in this case, the workflow might be that you're adding the card and you would like to send the money to your friend who is also registered in the your wallet application, and another payment instrument that the customer left is banking account. So by knowing his faster payment account, you can actually charge the card in Stripe and use the banking rails to send the money to another customer if you would like to send to the banking rails. But also you can keep on your virtual ledger. And that's different story. So if you're trying to develop the wallet, usually there are specific mobile or software components that you might see in your system. And the first one and critical one is a virtual ledger system, because if you operate with the balances and you would like to have the balances within your system, you will need to keep them. And it's quite specific piece of software that should be developed and well tested, because it's critical part of the system. Usually you will have the mobile application that is customer facing channel, and usually customer have the customer support there. There is business intelligence, which gives you an ability to see what's going on with the business continuous delivery, like a constant update to the system. Another important item is order management. It's key information for the balances and changes, because your treasury will want to see what's going on with the system and all the transactions that happen. Usually, there is a back office functionality which enables you to access and see how the business performs, what is the total number of transactions, their volume. Also, you might have the integration with the infrastructure, with the CHAPS or faster payment SEPA, because you will need to top up money for customers and then maybe even withdraw through the banking infrastructure. And usually this type of the system is built for 3 months. It really depends on the complexity, but if you use pre-ready components, you might get faster to the market as the 3 months. If you develop from the scratch and yourself as a custom engineer, it might be taking longer, 6-9 months in my experience. So what makes it so hard? And that's a ledger system. So usually in fintech systems, you should have a place where you hold in the balances for your customers. And it's hard to do because of the 2 reasons. In one way, you need to be fast enough with the altering the values for the balances, because you might have a lot of customers and a lot of balances. But an issue with the software that usually the effectiveness of the system is achieved by redundantness. It means that you're creating different places where you store the value, and it's caching mechanism. But in this case, you're losing the second point, which is consistency of the balance, because you cannot have the system where you have 100 pounds on the customer balance, but then somehow the customer has an ability to spend more than 100 pounds. Because if you have usual software approach, you will keep the balances in different places. And one, let's say with a card, because you issued the card with a partner bank and you are constantly pushing the information how much as a balanced customer has. So the correspondent bank who issued the card for your wallet has 100 pounds. And then you have a system which is also mimicking the transaction and keeping the 100 pounds as a balance of the account. So an issue might be that in this, if your system is not designed well, the issue might be that the customer is approaching ATM. He's putting the card into the ATM and starting the transaction of withdrawing the 100 pounds from ATM machine. And in the same time, the customer can use an application for dispatching the payment transaction to his friend with all the available balance. And the issue is if the system is not sophisticated enough to hold the balance while specific transaction is happening, like a while, because the information about the current balance is in one place and the sending usually from account in another one place. And if they're not connected and they're not checking that there is no other ongoing operations with other places of source, you might face the situation that the card will be charged and withdrawn with 100 pounds. So customer will get the cash in 100 pounds, but in the same time, the system that dispatch the payments through your platform, it will see that the balance still is 100 pounds because the card information will not be flown seamlessly and in real-time manner, because sometimes integration is done that you're pulling the request to the card issuer and it gives back an information about the status of the card. And during this pulling time, the system doesn't know that the balance went zero, and you will have an ability to send the money to your friend. And I've seen a lot of systems which had those issues in production. And in this case, sometimes the owners of the platform, they're not even aware about those issues before the first cases like that. Because as soon as the customers, they understand that they can overuse the balance, you're screwed. So this piece of software is pretty essential. Sometimes the core banking are bought for this, implementing this functionality, but it really depends on your case, what you're building, and how it should be properly managed. So usually the virtual ledger system is holding the virtual balance and represents the obligations and entitlements. So usually that becomes the single source of truth for the balance. So if you have this system in place, then your bank issuer will ask you if it's possible to deduct the specific amount at withdrawal. And while you have this request, you will put the mark that the balance went zero and something is going on as processing. And in this case, in the same time, if the payment will be dispatched to your friend, the ledger system will handle this second request and will check if you have something going on in this particular time. And if there is a two request, it will block the second one, or will wait until the first one is executed. And after that, will dispatch the payment to your friend. But it will not happen because the balance will be zero and you will not give an ability to customer to use more balance as they have. So as a company, we've been seeing a lot of different cases on the market, and that's why we created our fintech core product, which is white label solution for launching fintech products. It can be cloud, it can be on-premise hosted, and we have different modules which allows you to do the onboarding orchestration, KYC, KML, IML orchestration. And nowadays, it's pretty important for wallets also to do the KYC ML, because one way or another you're acting in the financial operations. It really depends on your jurisdiction and the license which you operate in, but it's something that I would think through from initial stage, even if it's not required, because a KYC and ML will help you to reduce the number of risks and frauds through the platform. And since a lot of digital thefts are happening, a lot of issues with the digital documents are happening online, I think it's important. As I said, we developed the balance orchestration, which allows you to properly manage and keep the virtual ledger. We also have a lot of modules and existing integration with the banks across the Europe and United Kingdom. So you can have clear bank integration out of the box. You can have different management and structures of the accounts for the customers. Also, we have the card orchestration, which includes issuing and processing. We have transaction orchestration, which allows you to keep on your own side the information about the transactions happening on the platform in quite specific way, because the bigger your platform is, the harder it is to maintain the transactions and properly structure that. Also, we have the payments integrations and orchestration, FX and cross-border deposits, credits, notifications, which is also important part of the system nowadays, because usually the level of expectations of the customer is that they see what's going on with their wallets in real time. And also back office orchestration, which allows you to organize your business flow with your internal team and accessing the platform from the web and in secure way that you can see, and you can implement the treasury function, compliance function if it's required, and other management system. Also, we support multi-region, and we also support multi-language approaches, which I think really important nowadays. So in this case, that's it. Thank you. It was a pleasure to talk through the functionality of the wallets. I think you will have an ability to ask questions through the email or the various sources that you can see on the screen. As dashdevs.com, you have a contact form, or you can contact me in LinkedIn, or even book a call through the link, and I will try to help you with your question and your specific request. Thank you so much for attending the meeting today. If you have questions, I will be online a little bit more to see if you have any questions on various platforms. Okay, I don't see any questions. So once again, thank you for your time. It was a pleasure to be, guys, with you, and looking forward to have next webinars in coming months. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.